Welcome back to another episode of Who's the Bee?
Yes.
And it's not just any episode,
No.
it's our 100th episode.
Oh my gosh, and aren't we looking so great for 100, y'all? Oh my gosh, we're giving Angelica Houston and the Witches, yes. What else are we giving? We're giving Old, but look so young. Oh my God, were they in the M. Night Shyamalan movie Old? No, they got off that island without getting knocked up in the tent by another child. And yeah, I'm always talking about the movie Old.
I don't even know the premise of this movie.
Man, M. Night Shyamalan, man, you get old. All of a sudden, you get old. And you scream, old, every time you do. You don't. That part I added.
And a gorgeous gift at our 100th anniversary is that I just got an email titled Incident at Camp with my son, which always makes my heart flutter. And not in a good way.
Yeah. Oh, in a bad way?
And the good news is he was the victim and not the perpetrator.
Yay!
Woo!
So is that always what you're hoping for? Is that usually you're like, please, please, please be a victim?
You're like, just please tell me he didn't bite somebody. And actually he was bit this time.
Hell
and he's
yeah.
okay. It did not break the skin. Kids do this stuff, but I'm always just praying my son is not the instigator.
Ha ha ha. Why? What does he instigate? Kara, he's not just an absolute character. Like, it is so ridiculous. Oscar's such a funny kid. He's so funny.
But he honestly does not engage in violence with children that much anymore when he was a little younger. But anymore, he doesn't unless it's his sister. If it's his sister, he goes for like anything.
Of course.
But like other than that, he really doesn't like hit or bite or anything like that.
Man,
so
I wish my husband received incidents about me. I wish he just received God, what is Jackie getting into? Oh God, she's screaming at someone in the parking lot. Just he gets the Citizen app updates of whatever we're doing.
There was an incident with Jackie today at the studio. We worked it out. We've contacted the other party's parents.
Holden just put his hand too close to her mouth, and she's gonna bite. You don't put her hands close to her mouth.
And Jackie is Jackie understands what she did wrong, and we're working on that with her.
Do I?
She's currently in the corner eating a pillow.
But once she'll be kept over there for a while. Give her another pillow. She'll be fine. No, that's why we're here talking about shepherding our children out there, really getting them out, shucking them out of the shell, throwing them out. Now, if Oscar comes to you and says, Mommy, please, I want to forever be Elphaba. Can I go be Elphaba? They're doing a child's version of Wicked, and they are doing it. They're putting it up. It's going to be a huge production. I think that it is M. Night Shyamalan's movie, which I don't know what they're going to end up doing with it. Are you going to let Oscar audition?
Is that true?
No.
They're making, okay. I was like, wait, what?
No,
oh my
I'm
God.
lying to you. I can't believe I just
your
got
improv
you.
is too convincing. I think what you're asking
he can do it. Yeah.
I think what you're asking me is am I willing to let my kids go into show business? And people have been telling me when Rosie was very small, she was very cute, and people are
she still is very cute.
Yeah, she is. But they're like, you should put her into modeling or acting or something like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I probably missed my window for that because when she was young and docile, 1 year old, that would have been the time.
You could have shaped her. You could have molded her,
She's so specific. There's no way. A lot of the kids that get into this kind of stuff have to be sure, put my hair any way you want. Sure, I'll wear any outfit.
Yes.
I'll do this. That is not my children. But I think that I definitely want my kids to have a childhood. And I think that you can tell the people whose children sort of gave them a bit more of a normal childhood, that you can tell that they're not I'm sorry, we've got Lindsay Lohan, we've got Britney. We can see how their parents were acting and behaving.
I think it depends on how your parent actually behaves in those situations. Because then you look at honestly, genuinely right now, a Zendaya. You look at a Zendaya that's also been in the biz for a long time.
So freaking.
But she credits her mom. She talks about how her mom was there for everything.
Yeah.
She was she was supportive, but she was also around and making sure. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because Jamie Lee Curtis, who we all know Jamie Lee Curtis, but I don't know if you guys remember, Jamie Lee Curtis is a Nepo baby, and she is a Nepo baby of Janet Leigh. And back when they were making The Exorcist, producer Ray Stark called Janet Leigh and said, hey, I'm producing the movie of the book The Exorcist. Will you let Jamie audition for it? And Janet Leigh said no. She's just straight up out the gate said no. She's only 12. She is sassy, but I'd like her to remain a child for now. And of course, you know, I think she was only 19 when she does Halloween. So it wasn't that long after, but Janet Leigh wanted her to have a childhood. And, you know, now we look at Jamie Lee Curtis. We know that she's been sober for a very long time. She's been killing the game. Like, she's had multiple versions of her career over her entire life. It's been amazing to watch. But then really is crazy that at this same time, like, Janet Leigh is saying, no, baby, you can't go be a star. But who does get to go be a star? Linda Blair. And why are we talking about Linda Blair right now? The Exorcist star Linda Blair's home searched as authorities investigate reported kennel operation housing more than 100 dogs. So what am I proposing here? Yes, thank God Janet Leigh said no, or else Jamie Lee Curtis would today be housing hundreds of dogs. Probably not sober doing it. And I think this means something that it's all coming out now, right, Kara?
Yes, but I mean, yes. But the thing is that's so different is that I think it was totally normal to like hit the Hollywood scene at 18, like if you were in Jamie Lee Curtis's time. Whereas now it's like, look at so many of the people that are super famous. Zendaya, like Selena Gomez. All these people started when they were
Olivia, Sabrina,
young.
yes.
Yes, Sabrina, Olivia, like all these people, Taylor Swift, like they all started when they were super, super young. So I'm sure a lot of them are thinking, if I start at 18 or if I start at 21 or 22 after I finish college, I'm basically an old person getting into this business.
Oh, yeah, so, you're 100 years old just like us.
I think that sucks. But I also think that if you had a kid that specifically was like by the way, I don't think either of my kids are this, but a kid that was so honed in on like,
so
this
driven.
is what I want to do. I've interviewed a lot of actors on my other podcast, right? And like a bunch of them who are not even majorly famous, but work a lot, are like, oh yeah, I basically like went to my mom when I was a teen and was like, this is what I want to do. I want to finish school like online or whatever. And I want to start like auditioning and being on sets. And I think there is something to like listening to I guess there's a difference between like age and what kind of kid you have. But like, if you're the kind of parent that has the time to fully supervise your child's career, then that can work. But if you're just like, yeah, go off and do that, the parents are just going to continue their careers and see you on set when we see you, I guess, like, or whatever. You know, you can't really, like, I just think the hands off or whatever, or the parents that are trying to get famous themselves.
That's also the problem, Kara.
The people where it ends up being like monster people.
Exactly. It depends on what kind of parent you've got, because it's like the Zendaya had the mom that was supportive, that was around all the time. But then there's also like the Jeanette McCurdy's out there. Well, It's like, well, her mom was around all the time, but you really didn't want her to be around all the time. You know,
right.
It's like there's also, it depends on what kind of mother you are.
I think that it's just like there could be like, for example, I have a friend who just told me, she was like, she went to her dad at like 14 and was like, I want to go to boarding school. And her dad was like, okay. And then she's like, I really wish he hadn't let me do that.
Yeah, I also wish I were made out of 24 karat gold. I was trying to
respect you. He was trying to be like, I respect your decisions and I want to like let you try the things you want to try. And then I have another friend who sent their kid to boarding school and was like, yeah, she came to us and she said she really wanted to do it and she looked into it and blah, blah, blah. So we let her go do it and she really likes it. And it's like,
did you know you could do that as a child? I didn't know I could go to my parents and say, hello, mother, father, send me away. I'd like to go be where I can have drugs.
But this is just an example of, I feel like, the way that people are like, I want to have open, honest communication with my teen.
Right.
But then there's like knowing to what level your teen knows absolutely jack about the world.
Right.
You know
right.
Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, even in a way that I feel like it was weaponized against us, now we see actual parents that instill in their kids of like, if you call me because you need me or you say, come pick me up, there'll be no questions asked. And I remember one time when my mom said that to me and I looked her in the eyes and I was like, that's not true. There's no way there's going to be no questions asked. And now I hear about it and I see parents that actually do that. And I'm like, wow, that isn't just a lie that parents say, because there would be some questions.
No, I would call my dad and go, I got a flat tire. And he'd come and fix the tire. And then the next morning be like, what did you do? Were you speeding over a pothole? Like, I would get in so much trouble the next day. I mean, they would help me, but like I was also always deathly afraid of getting got,
like the way Linda Blair got.
Yeah,
now,
getting got.
I will also say, throw it out there, we don't know that much yet about the full story with Linda Blair. It might just be she's claiming that she just didn't fill out some permits. She's like, it's a permit thing. This is just a permit thing. But I don't know. That's a lot of dogs. But I also have never tried to run my own homemade kennel before. So, you know, I don't know.
I'm literally the last person to ask on the legalities and the legal ins and outs of kennel business.
Yeah, I don't really know. But I do know that I wish the best for her. And I do know that she was really good at having her head spun around and shooting a bunch of pea soup out of it. But sorry, Jamie Lee Curtis, you didn't get to do that. And I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry you had a wonderful childhood instead. And now you get to eat yogurt for a living.
Also Wonder Woman?
No.
No. Who was the original Wonder Woman?
I don't know.
Linda Carter.
Linda
a different
Carter.
Linda.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, that's a different
I knew that.
Linda.
No, I don't know anything about Wonder Woman. But
should we get into today's solicited advice?
Yes, we should. Yes, we should.
Our 100th episode.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. Let's play our first voicemail.
Thank you for calling. Who's the bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hi, ladies. Huge fan. I listen to you all the time. I have a low stakes situation that just happened. So I work at a wine bar. My manager is 10 years older than me, so she's millennial. I'm like on the edge of millennial, Gen Z, whatever. We've had this conversation about like separating the art from the artist. Anyway, I came into work this morning. Work at a wine bar, like I said. We have like a radio station. And you open it up, the computer, and see like whatever radio station was playing last. And I opened it and it was Lost Prophets. And I was like, oh, must have come up in conversation with somebody. Maybe she was like, yeah, this guy did this horrible thing, blah, blah, blah. Let me play the station. So I texted her as a joke. I was like, girl, why are we listening to pedophiles? And she sent me this really long, angry message in response. I recall some of the bands that you listen to have done horrible things. Like, I can separate the art from the artist. So, and generally I can, but like, Ian Watkins is so terrible. I'm sure at least Jackie knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Am I the bitch in the situation for thinking that was like where it was going to go? Should I? Like, am I the one in the wrong that would never listen to them? Can you separate the art from the artist? Anyway, low stakes situation. Thought it was kind of funny. Have a great day. Love you both.
It's just that I had to look up. It pled guilty to 13 child sex offenses. It's just that there's a time and a place. Certainly not at the workplace. It's certainly not where we should be. And if you're gonna go down that road, if you're going to take out your kaza, I'm hoping you still use, or is it kaza? I'm hoping you still use that program because you think it's the year 2006 and that maybe things are different. Sure, we can separate the art from the artist, right? Yeah, you remember that? Remember back in the day? Ad remembers it. It was one of those old download.
So wait, first of all, I need to point out that you were laughing or making some kind of noise, but she goes, at least Jackie knows, tell Kara. And I do know about this band.
Of course you know about, because you know true crime, honestly, even more than I know true crime. But I definitely know this story.
I did have to Google it and remind myself exactly. And this guy has crimes including the attempted sexual assault of a toddler. Like, this guy is evil.
He would have his fans bring to him. Yeah, no, this guy is true evil. But
I understand we're in the summer of Michael Jackson's movie coming out, which is Feels like in a lot of ways propaganda from his family, but there's a lot of conversation all the time about separating art from the art from the artist.
I listen to Blurred Lines every once in a while, okay? It's still a bop. But I'm not playing it in my workspace. I'm not talking about it in my workspace. And I also feel that in a community, if you're playing music, I feel like it does show from everybody that I think that if you walk into a workspace and Lost Prophets is playing, I would feel differently about the space.
We have to stop also acting like things are black and white and that there are not degrees of things, okay? Right. Like that Blurred Lines, I mean, Robin Thicke is like a sex pest?
Yes.
Like, or what, I mean...
And the song is about non-consent, like a lot of the lyrics.
Okay,
and so,
that's bad. That's not good.
But it's not Lost
very
Prophets,
different than
man.
Attempting to sexually assault a baby. Like, we just can't be like, well, the whataboutism is like what's dividing us in this country is like, well, what about the fact that the president of the United States has done X, Y, Z, X, Y, blah, 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 blah. And then people are like, well, Obama did this one thing. It's like, it's not. Like, we have to be able to think critically and look at things as a whole and like see that there is nuance and there are degrees of badness. Like, it's just not the same.
Like, we are
to
right.
be like,
I mean, Chris Brown should not be on tour anymore. And I would love it if he were never on tour ever again. But this man is true. And also, he was using the band and the band's fans to supplement it. Like, it's all of it. Unfortunately, I don't think we can separate this one. And I completely agree with you. You listen to it on your own time. If that is your wish, fine. Don't subject anyone else to it. And don't, especially if other people are going to think, does that mean you also are down with Lost Prophets? Like, don't connect me to it. Like, if I found it out, like in the old like pie shop I used to work at, we used to play music and come in, like people knew me specifically, like they would know I was working if they came in and like 90s hit after hit after hit was playing. Usually I was working, but I feel like I wouldn't want someone to come into that shop and be like, Lost Prophets? You guys?
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm saying, like, I see how you were writing it to your coworker, like jokingly, but then she took the sort of like MAGA side of things.
Very
of being
weird.
Like, well, what about this and that and the bands that you listen to and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, like I can look into that. If anybody has literally gone to jail for sex crimes,
also,
then I won't play them in the place.
I am just quickly looking this up, but I will throw it out there that if you're like, but what about the other band people? They didn't do these things. Apparently, they immediately broke up the band right after everything happened and then restarted, or they started a new band called No Devotion. So if you are like, but the other band members, go follow No Devotion. Apparently, they also, and I don't know, it's not going to be the same. But guys, there's a lot of musicians out there, and sometimes we got to let them go. He's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, like the Michael Jackson thing, there's people out there that are like, half the world is like, we did an episode about him for my other podcast and people came out of the woodwork to tell us that we were completely incorrect and that none of the, but the documentary
was going to see Jackson, like the latest Michael Jackson movie. I was like, oh, no one's going to see it. It
did well.
Everybody. Oh, it did.
Everybody went to go see it.
Well.
And my friend just told me she went to go see it. And I go, you know that's like propaganda made by his family, right? And she goes, I know. And I was like,
just
okay,
as a way to get more money, right?
Like, well, they also were able to sue and get Leaving Neverland taken down. So that was the big documentary that got everybody to really say, oh, wow.
It's almost like it's all this, evil. It's all just like a corporate evil. Yeah.
Now there's all this Epstein conspiracies. Like, I mean, I believe Michael Jackson is probably a victim as well. And unfortunately, that is the cycle of violence, is that abused people become abusers. But I don't think we can deny that there was some very, very inappropriate to criminal things happening.
This also about Lost Prophets, it wasn't an inkling that people have. These aren't just rumors.
Right.
These are definites, and we can let some things go.
Yeah.
And I don't mean in a, oh, it's just a little. You know what I mean. But thank you,
I just thought it was interesting to talk about the art, separating the art from the artist.
It really
is. To talk about, and also that I think that this coworker was definitely feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
That they're not allowed to listen to I mean.
Girl, you knew that it was, come on.
I like a lot of R. Kelly. And when my kids start saying, I believe I can fly, I go, guys, we can't sing that anymore.
We can't believe it.
Sorry.
We can't believe it. Sorry.
We're not allowed to anymore. We got to figure out another
Remix
song
to
about
Ignition.
flying.
Remix to Ignition really makes you want to take shots, and we get that, but we cannot. We can't.
I know every word to Remix to Ignition, and it will never leave my brain.
No.
That's where it has to
It
stay.
still pops in there every once in a while. But again, when I'm by myself, as with shame, as we should.
Yeah. Instead of separating the art from the artist, why can't we demand from our artists that they not be sociopaths?
Whoa!
And psychopaths.
Kara. No.
Like,
too much of an ask.
Instead of listening to Remix to Ignition, just maybe don't traffic women. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that big of an
Kara,
ask.
why are you putting him in a box and not like the box he puts the women in? I don't know if he does that, but I imagine there's some sort of, I always assume there's box play, coffin times that people all experience.
Box play. Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Who knows what you do in your spare time?
Let's move on to our next voicemail because I don't know what kind of what we're getting into.
Are you scared of me? You're scared of my mouth, Kara?
No. I'm just like.
Thank you for calling. Who's the bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hey, Kara and Jackie. First of all, love you. That's really all I'm going to say.
Whoa.
I have a volume-based BITCHuation up in here. So the other day, I had to go to Jersey City from Manhattan for dinner, and I got there pretty early. Now, this is a Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I call my mom. So I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm standing on one of the piers, just yapping, talking to her, waiting for this dinner to start. Now, as I'm looking around, looking at the geese, looking at the water, this woman I notice is staring daggers at me, like into my soul. I had, those headphones that cover your ears, like volume or noise canceling headphones. So I move one side to the side off of my ear.
Yeah, to hear.
And she tells me that I'm speaking too loudly and she's having to raise her voice to continue having her conversation. So I said, well, ma'am, this is a public space. We're also outside. Also, I was several feet away from her. And so she continues to be upset with me. And she's like, well, I'm trying to have a calm conversation. And so I told her, babe, have a calm conversation. I'm trying to talk to my mom. And this is simply the volume that I speak at. Once again, we're outside. She's getting pissed at me. And so then I kind of walk forward so that my mouth is not aiming towards her so that she's behind me. And also so I don't have to look at her anymore. And I continue talking to my mom at a normal, potentially loud volume that I am speaking to her.
Okay.
And then finally, I needed to go to the restaurant. Now, I actually was going to start walking to the restaurant much earlier, but because this woman was upset with me for being in her vicinity and speaking loudly, I felt that I had to stay and continue speaking at the same volume for longer than I had initially planned. When someone's rude and they want your parking spot, so you actually have to die in that parking spot.
Yes,
that's exactly what this felt like, but speaking version. And then finally, I start to walk towards the restaurant because I do have to get to this dinner. And so I'm walking around and I'm thinking, don't look. I end up turning and looking at her. And of course, she's glaring at me. Pissed. It's crazy. So I blew her a kiss. And then kept walking and felt exhilarated and joy in my heart for being a bitch. But I guess my question is, am I the bitch? I do think I was potentially acting bitchy, but am I the bitch for not speaking quieter in an outdoor space in Jersey? It's Jersey. And also, am I the bitch for staying in that vicinity to talk to my mom even longer than I initially planned, just to spite this woman?
Yeah, you are, but...
Let me know. I will take your comments as law. So, whatever you say, I will truly believe. Love you so much. Toodaloo.
I'm obsessed with this.
Blowing
call.
the kiss.
It's Jersey. If it was any other state.
It's Jersey. Come on.
I just think if you're outside, like anything can happen outside.
Yes.
Like if someone's dog started barking, I'd be like, I'm going to move away. There's a dog barking and I'm trying to talk to you quietly on the phone.
Yes.
If someone came out and put down a piece of wood and started busking while tap dancing, you'd go, I'm going to move down here because this person's here. If someone set up a area so they could start singing, I mean, that's outdoors in a metropolitan area, which I would count Jersey City as part of. And that's just life. I mean, if you were on a subway, you were on a bus, you were in an enclosed space, obviously we've had these conversations before. This is very different. You're in open outdoor space. And yes, I'm sure with those noise canceling headphones on, you were screaming only because when my kids are wearing their noise canceling headphones in the car and I go, hey guys, they go, yeah, mom, they're screaming like they have and same on the airplane. They have no idea how freaking loud their voices are because they can't hear themselves.
Right.
So I bet you were talking loudly. It is her responsibility to move away. This is not a phone area. It is not a designated quiet area. Like,
move somewhere else.
That's the thing.
You can move.
And she just wanted to sit and gawk at you and go, this woman is being a bee. Yep. And you were truly just honestly enjoying and living your best Jersey life.
Yeah.
And I would say you were being a little bit petty by staying extra long. You were being a little bit petty by blowing her the
but
kiss.
Are you our kind of bitch?
It.
Yeah, I think you are our kind of bitch. I think you were definitely, we were turning up the bitch to 11 here a little bit, but I am completely on board for it because Kara, you're right. Especially as New Yorkers, especially, and I'm not saying Jersey is New York, we know this, but like she knows too. We're all on top of each other, all right? And we're going to be able to hear, like, it always is what drives me crazy. When I first moved to LA, it drove me insane because here people would complain about people being loud or like you doing something that bothers them. Like when I used to smoke cigarettes, oh my God, the insane judgments I received everywhere, and everyone in LA let you know that they were upset that you were doing something. And I just would get so angry because I'm like, New York, nobody has time for this. I'm so sorry that you guys have time. It's like, we're all on top of each other. We're going to hear things sometimes. That's just how it goes. And I do feel that often, and especially you're outside. Move away from me. You also have free will to move away from me. And I'm not keeping you here. I would have also spoken louder. I completely understand. I would have used my volume for evil. Sometimes we have to use our volume for evil because I also get told, surprisingly, that I am too loud sometimes. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
It is all in how you say it, though, Kara, because I am a people pleaser. And if I'm being too loud and someone says it in a nice way and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I got it. But if you're going to be staring daggers at me and then you're going to be a bitch about it, oh, hun, you thought I was loud before. I'm going to get even louder and you're going to really want to leave. And I love the blowing of a kiss. It's bitchy. Oh, babe, it's bitchy. And I love it because sometimes we choose violence. And sometimes I would say, don't torque it up because you never know, someone might be a psychopath. And you don't know if they're going to torque it up in a way that isn't a creepy or a scary way. So I just do need to at least throw that out there as someone that used to flip out at strangers a lot. And I know that I have been very, very safe somehow, that I might have a guardian angel or something. The fact that all the people I've popped off to did not hurt me very, very, very much. But in this case, you knew that B wasn't going to do anything. Give her a little blow, her a little kiss. Bye, bitch. Especially after you've traveled all the way from Manhattan to Jersey. You already traveled to Jersey. You already made it there. And you were talking to your mom.
Sorry. It's like we are in New Jersey. We're in Jersey City. We're on a pier. Like you're just not in a quiet courtyard at a botanical garden. Like there's just, context is everything. Like you can talk, there are some places you can talk loudly.
Outdoors. So that's it. Thank
Yep,
you.
that's it.
But also,
Bye.
I love the blowing of the kiss. Really, really throws you into bitch territory. But if you're gonna keep looking, I guess you're gonna like what you see because you won't stop staring at me.
Just walk away. Just walk away.
Oh my God, how many times, and I know that it's like an old standard of take a picture to last longer. When someone is staring at me, I go to red so fast when just stare. Like, it's how I like knew that I couldn't be a nanny forever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like that kind of, I'm just like, stop staring at me. Stop needing my attention.
Oh my Lord. I just also, it's so delicious to mess with women like that. It really is.
I know. And especially because no one ever gives her tood back. You know that. That's the kind of woman that is so, like, she's so used to being right in every situation she's in.
And she was probably not focusing on her own conversation at all. The person on the other line is like, are you even listening to me? And she's like, I'm sorry. This person is just yelling. I mean,
walk away, B.
Yeah.
Walk away.
It's all context, baby. All right, let's get to this email. I'll read this email that we have.
You got
today.
it, baby.
You got it.
Hi, Kara and Jackie. Love the show and have listened since day one.
Oh my God, thank you.
100 episodes. You've listened for 100 episodes.
You're old too. Now we're all old.
Been a last podcast, page 7, brighter side listener for over 10 years, and I just love y'all so much. I'll just get right into it. I've been with my boyfriend Jake for almost 8 years now.
Okay.
We met at the restaurant where I was working at the time. I was a server. I saw him walk in and made my coworker who was serving his table give him my number that I had written on a Post-it.
Post-it romance.
Very, very forward. While I do still love him, I just feel like I don't really like him anymore, if that makes any sense. It does to me. When we met, Jake was very fit and worked out almost every day. Now he never does anything active. He has gained quite a bit of weight, and although he complains about it, he won't put in any effort to change it. I tried getting him to go to the gym with me, and he did for about 6 weeks. We got in a car accident and both had rib injuries from the seatbelts. The difference is that I went back to the gym after 4 days and pushed through the pain, and he never went back. The weight gain itself doesn't bother me a ton, but it's affected his sex drive, and at this point, we only have sex maybe once every 2 months, not enough. When we do, I have to do all the work and he doesn't even attempt to please me in any way. 5 years ago, I started pursuing a career working trails. Through a lot of hard work, self-education, and admittedly a lot of support from Jake, I made it happen. Cool. I now work full-time building and maintaining trails throughout our state.
That's awesome.
So cool. Which means I'm gone for 4 to 8 days at a time, sometimes more.
Ooh.
Before I leave, I clean the house and prep food for both of us while I'm gone. More often than not, I come home to a sink full of dishes, filthy floors, and dirty litter boxes. We have 4 cats.
Oh, no.
Most recently, I came home after being gone for almost 3 weeks, and I couldn't even shower until I cleaned the tub because it was so dirty.
Oh, no.
I've told him time and time again that I just want to come home to a clean house, and he always has some bullshit excuse for why he couldn't wash dishes or clean over the course of a week. I do all of the household work in a home that I live in half of the time. It really feels like he has stopped putting any effort into our relationship, and I'm over it. I've made really great connections through my job, so I would have no problem getting hired almost anywhere I wanted, and I could just leave. But I feel like our life together is so established, and uprooting my whole life at 35 would be extremely difficult, especially with the cats. I also feel like I owe Jake in a way since he was so supportive during my career shift.
Well,
at the end of the day, I feel like I have changed a lot for the better and he has changed for the worse. He's become lazy and unmotivated, which is extremely unattractive to me, more so than any weight gain. His lack of drive, effort, and accountability drives me insane. I should mention that I've talked to him about these things and he continually tells me that he'll change, but nothing ever changes. To say that I'm frustrated is beyond an understatement. Am I the bitch for having these feelings? Would I be the bitch if I took a job that would require me to move even though he has helped me get to this place in my life? Is he the bitch for essentially giving up on everything? I have no idea what to do and I feel very lost right now. I'd appreciate hearing your takes on this. Love ya, Liv. Live, love,
Liv.
laugh. Laugh,
babe.
love, live.
Oh, babe.
Liv. This sucks.
This sucks. It sucks. Because it is so difficult to change your life at 35, but you've already been changing. Like, here's the thing. it's not that you would have to change your life starting at 35. Babe, you've been growing, you've been moving, you've been shaking, you've been this entire time. You're already changing for good, and your partner is not moving in the same direction. This is, unfortunately, something that I really appreciate you writing in, because it gets so difficult. I think that a lot of us need to hear sometimes that you're worth it to move on. Because right now, sometimes when you're with a person, and especially you've tried talking to him, you've tried multiple things, and I'm not just saying you just up and leave. It is just oftentimes especially in a partnership, you're always going to grow, you're always going to change, but you want to be moving in the same direction. And even though I know that you're bringing up weight and stuff like that, really at the end of the day, this all has to do with him and how he brings himself to every situation and how he's living his life. And it seems like you have gotten a huge ick, which is completely understandable. Now, oftentimes, there are times, I think, for a lot of us when we watch our partner struggle with mental illness things, because it sounds like your partner might be struggling with some depression or so. I mean, obviously, we can't diagnose.
He sounds depressed.
He sounds depressed, and that he can't move himself, that he's having a hard time moving forward by himself. That I do, of course, want to ask, are you in therapy, and is he in therapy? Because it sounds like he really needs some help and some way to talk through this, to be able to work on this, to be able to grow and get out of his own way. Because it seems like right now his confidence and how he feels about himself is affecting everything in your life, which unfortunately happens sometimes with the cycles of depression or something like that, of a cyclical mental illness nature, or not, of just your brain is keeping you there. So I don't even think, I'm sure, you're talking to him, I'm sure he does want to change, but he probably needs some help. But you're not going to be the one that makes him do that. Yeah. He unfortunately has to want to change for himself, and he has to want to make those changes. You can't drag him to the gym every day. You can't, no matter how much you're I believe in you, I know you can do this. But also, though, have you tried any of that? Of going at it from I do wonder, Liv, which I would understand, have you gone far past that where you're I don't want to try anymore? That's completely okay. You have tried
beyond the
many
gym
times.
Beyond the gym stuff, it's you've been together 8 years and you are not sharing the responsibilities.
That's what I mean.
Of a home together.
Yes.
He's not there are no excuses. I guess if he comes out and says, I don't know what to tell you, I'm so depressed, I couldn't get off the couch the whole time you were gone. Okay, we need to get you into treatment then. That's one thing.
But even
if he's just coming up with excuses, not being accountable, you don't deserve that. To get home to a filthy home after you do all this work to make sure that your time away will be comfortable for him. I'd be out the door. But also, I think you need to but at the same time, if it is a depression thing and you want to try to help him move through it, I'm assuming you've considered that. Because everything you're writing here seems like this is a person who's got a mental block to being accountable, to being motivated, to being ambitious or whatever, in a way that he used to be, and that something hit and now he's not.
It just comes to mind the idea of it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And we say this often when it comes to mental health. It's not his fault, but it is his responsibility to take care of it.
If he has a mental health diagnosis, which it sounds like, but we're not professionals.
We're not professionals, but I'm just saying, if this is something that he is genuinely saying, I just can't do this, which is I think that for many, 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 many generations, it was always oh, you're just lazy. Oh, you're just lazy. I'm just saying that maybe that it's not just a choice of laziness. I'm trying to give this person the benefit of the doubt of and if it is a person that's just, no, I'm just not going to do it, well, then leave. Take the cats and leave. Figure it out, because that's not someone you want to keep wasting your time with.
Yeah. And honestly, you need to let go of this, this little, but he was there for me while I got to the point that I am in my career. He was there for you, but you were doing the work.
You were doing the work.
You did the work. You got to the top of the mountain. And I don't think that you need to say, okay, now that I'm at the top of the mountain, I'm just going to starve here because my partner, like I owe it to my partner and he didn't bring any food. And you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that that's like, I would make sure like that you definitely have been communicating about this with him, like how unhappy you are.
Yes.
Because it's not just nagging. It's not just, oh, you don't go to the gym. Like, because you know what, honestly, when you wrote the thing about like, I went to the gym 4 days after a car accident and pushed through the pain. Okay, that's not for everybody.
Not everybody can do that.
But like, if that car accident was a long time ago and he still hasn't figured out a way to like move his body and he still hasn't figured out a way to like share the household responsibilities with you, and you've like made it clear to him that it's not just a nagging thing like I need you to do XYZ. It's like I don't feel like we're in a partnership. I don't feel like you are taking me into account. Like our physicality has fallen off. I mean, this is like the death knell of a lot of relationships. What you're describing right now is like somebody just falls into, and then the other person has to leave. And it doesn't, like, you're only 35. I mean, that's not very old. Like, you can easily reset, like, you could get.
We can always start again, babe.
Yes.
We can always start again. It is never too old. It is never too late, because life is short, but also life is long. And we've got to be able to take care of ourselves in situations like this, because you're already going to look back on it and be like, oh God, I should have done that so much sooner. Because it is when I feel like you keep bringing up how he supported you through you working on all this. So when you're saying that, does that mean he kept the house, that he did all of these things? Like when you say support, or did he just say like, good for you, babe? Yeah, keep going, babe. And is he just watching you move forward and work on yourself and build a life for yourself while he sits in the sidelines and doesn't do anything for himself? Is that what you want? And while that is a support in some ways, was he, like, if this was a huge difference where all of a sudden now he's not doing anything, but was he taking care of everything while you were building everything? I feel like he wasn't. And I just have an assumption.
No, he was supportive of a career shift. So maybe there was like a financial difference and he was maybe covering some of that. It doesn't really matter. Like,
it doesn't matter, because like that was the part of the relationship you were in when you were there. That's not the relationship anymore. And it's okay to make changes based on the current reality of your relationship rather than the stuff that happened years ago. Because your current reality is you're not happy.
And he maybe needs to hit like a sort of a rock bottom in order to know that like this isn't just like men, women stuff that we do where they complain because we don't clean up enough or whatever. Like this is like you're really considering leaving. And I would tell him that and say, like, I would have a conversation that's like, I'm really frustrated. Like, you're saying we've talked about these things, and you're like, I think you should just sit down and be like, we've talked about this ad nauseum. You're saying that you don't want, you're saying you want to change, but you don't change. I feel like the only next step is either you get therapy and commit to some kind of like forward momentum, or I've got to go. Like,
because have you gone to him and said, I'm worried about you? Like, have you said that? Have you thought, like, have you talked through, and maybe this is just big conversations of people now, like, I feel like in a marriage that I have now recently in the last year or so gone through huge fundamental changes in my life. And it is also checking back in with the person as they change in a relationship. And I think that he needs a check-in, and he also needs a wake-up call. Because does he know that you're at this place? Because I think this is beyond coming to him in a place of anger or upset. It is we need to genuinely talk about this. Because something has to change.
But don't let like the cats and...
Don't let that hold you back.
Some kind of...
It's scary.
I hate to say it. I think that like if this was like the roles were reversed, a man would be like, I'm out the door. Like if his like wife or partner, just like female partner, just like stopped paying attention to like their physical health, their attending to the sexual part of the relationship, to any of the housework, the guy would be like, I'm out of here. And women, and I'm totally generalizing, a lot of times feel like, but we've been together for so long and we have an established life together and I owe him XYZ because of something he did. I think you got to think about you at this point because
You're
you
only
are-
35.
Yeah. Some people would have just walked out. You've actually given him the benefit of the doubt of many times of talking about it. And you're just like now so frustrated, the conversations go nowhere that I would be like, okay, I'm literally making plans to leave and let him know.
Does he know that? You know, he's like, that it's come to this. And that's not, I don't feel that that's an ultimatum. I think it's letting him know you are at this place. But
I mean, I would love to know whether he's been like assessed for any kind of depression, or you think there's a history of that, or you think that has some, because this is like no drive, no effort, no sex drive.
Maybe
like,
he's even just watching
kind of,
you succeed and feels bad about himself. It could even just be that.
Well, that sucks too.
Yeah, and that also sucks. And that's also something you shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
Change it. You don't like it, change it. But this is a problem.
Yeah, we're on your side. I feel like you're on an upward trajectory, and you cannot let somebody just drag you down. He's completely just given up. But like at the same time, if you love him and you feel like this is a mental illness that can be treated, and he would maybe go back to who you originally fell in love with, okay, but...
Or become a new version of himself that you also love, but you don't currently like this one. And that's a huge problem.
Yeah. And it totally makes sense to say, I love him. I wish only the best for him, and I love him as a person, but as a partner, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think that makes a ton of sense, and I think a lot of people know what that feels
like.
But some people just stick with it because they don't want to move on. Right. And I think you're 35 and you've got a lot ahead of you.
Keep going, girl.
You don't deserve to come home from 3-week trips, freaking clearing trails, to have to get down on your hands and knees and clean out your bathtub.
You can't even take a shower because this
man
tub
will
is so disgusting?
Even clean his grime out of the tub.
No.
Nasty.
No, we don't deserve this, Liv. We're live, laugh, love, and we're moving on, babe.
Live, laugh, love. Let us know what happens. Okay, let's get to our next voicemail.
Okay.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hi, Jackie and Kara. My BITCHuation is this. Am I the bitch for thinking my parents don't love my kids enough? So I'm 38. My husband and I have 3 kids. His parents passed away like a year and a half ago. My parents live about an hour away. They both still work. My dad works about 3 to 4 days a week. And my mom, her schedule is like super variable because 6 years ago, she started like this brand new exciting career, and it takes up 90% of her time and attention. And so I've written her off as being part of the equation years ago. I just expect very little from her, and I get even less. And moving right along, I always thought my kids would at least have like a really good grandpa in my dad. He was and is a really great dad. He he's always trying to help. He's always willing to listen to you. You can call and vent at 3 a.m. if you need to. Like, he'll drop everything and come help you if you need help. And that's just kind of always how he's been. He talked a lot about like wanting to be a grandpa and how excited he was to be a grandpa. And like, here we are now, and got 3 kids, 3, 6, and 8 years old.
Ooh.
And he's not really in their lives a whole lot. They don't seem really that important to him. They don't seem like they're like he doesn't seem to pay very much attention to them. We don't see him. If I ask, can you come over? Like sometimes it's yes, but usually it's no, and he never initiates. And it's kind of like occasionally I'll ask him to babysit, and it feels like, almost like it's like a duty that he has.
Yeah.
Like, his mom needs him to go to Costco every Saturday to pick up her groceries, and my sister, if she needs him to help him fix her fence, or whatever, it's like, yeah, I'll go do that. And it's like, okay, I'll go watch the kids. It doesn't seem, I just, there's no like excitement. There's no interest. There's no, my parents go on big travel trips all the time. They go on cruises all the time. They don't like get them little souvenirs. They don't write them postcards. They don't call them or FaceTime them. There's just not a whole lot going on. When they are over, they're like attentive and they're affectionate, and they give them a couple of presents for Christmas or their birthday. But like, they're always, they don't stay that long. And my dad just lets them watch videos on YouTube. He's not like playing with them. And then yesterday, this is kind of what prompted this whole, I've been processing this basically, because my dad told me over the phone yesterday, he was like, oh, I mean, of course I love your kids. It's just different. With my siblings and I, it was different with you kids. I don't feel that same pull with the grandkids. And of course I love them, but I wouldn't say that. It's like, okay, first of all, inside thoughts, buddy. Like, I don't need to hear that you don't feel the love, like the pull towards my kids. But I was like, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Then I was thinking about it and I was like, actually, that doesn't make any sense at all. I made an anonymous post on Facebook in a community group. Yes, I'm 38. Yes, I'm on Facebook. And I was basically like, grandparents, how do you feel about your grandkids? And like so many comments about like, my grandkids are my entire world. And I can't believe how much I love them. And I love them more than my kids. And It's just like brimming with long-winded, passionate declarations of love. And anyway, it's like their grandkids are their entire world. And I feel like my parents aren't even a part of my village, So I'm just kind of wondering your guys' take on that. So thanks.
Okay. And then this was the reason why this had such beautiful clarity is because it was sent as a voice memo. And then there were some answers to anticipated questions attached.
Oh, okay.
My kids are my parents' only grandkids, and they likely won't have any more because my siblings don't want kids.
Okay.
My parents are both in their early 60s.
Okay.
My kids are not angels, nor are they hellions. I mean, no children are either of those things. They bicker sometimes, and my oldest has ADHD, so some emotional regulation problems, but they're good kids overall. My kids love my parents and are so excited when they see them. My middle guy went through a phase where he wouldn't hug my mom, and they both seem to take that super personally. My parents are conservative Christian. I am now a progressive atheist, so their discomfort with my life choices, etc., might contribute to feelings of distance. So that is all the information that we have. I mean, I feel like I just like feel about this. I feel for you on this so hard because I feel parts of this myself very deeply. And I think especially when there's this like stereotype of grandparents as like so doting and loving and permissive, and they're sitting in a recliner at home just waiting for their grandkids to call or visit and this and that, and I definitely think that even though you got that big response in your Facebook group, there are a lot of people going through what you're going through. I've been speaking to a lot of my friends about this because I'm like, I've just been visiting my parents for 3 weeks, and there's like they're there, right? And they're around my kids,
but they're not
engaging with them in a way that I was like sort of expecting.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a big age difference. My parents are, my dad is 80 and my mom's like late 70s. So like your parents are much younger. And I would say that like that's closer to Jared's parents, and they are very like doting on my kids and engaging with them and this and that when they're with them, and then buying them little things when they go on trips. Again, my mom buys my kids stuff on trips and whatever, and like thinks about my kids all the time.
Right.
There's parts of this that are not identical, but there definitely is like an expectation I had of the relationship that is not there.
Right.
And And when you say like, I don't feel the pull, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely don't think my dad has the pull at all. Like at all. My mom probably does more, but even still when they're around them, it's like, there's like an inability to like connect with them or like really get down on their level. And that could just be age and the fact that they can barely hear anything. Like, I don't know. And I also feel like that's interesting what you say about them being conservative Christian and you being progressive atheist. Like, I feel like that kind of stuff is driving people further apart. But I've been talking to a lot of friends lately that are like, oh yeah, my mom is like there. I mean, comes for the visit, but she's not engaging with my child or like speaking to them or whatever. And like, again, it's like, you guys know I love to harp on hyper individualism, but I do think that like the right wing and a lot of our media now is like, do what's right for you, get your career, get your this and that. Like, and there's just not as much of a focus on the village or on the community.
I also do wonder, and I know that I feel like sometimes after episodes, I'm like, God, was I too hard on boomers as a whole? I find it fascinating that I wonder if a lot of the grandparents that are grandparenting now as boomers, right? They were never asked if they wanted to be parents when they became parents. And they were never given the option. They were told that that's what you were going to do. And regardless of whether or not they wanted to have children around or they wanted to be parents, they became them. And then they treated their children as such. And I feel like a lot of boomers are now kind of for the first time experimenting with, now we're also being told that well, if you don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And they feel like, your father, I imagine in some capacity is like, but I told her I didn't want to do it and I don't feel the pull. Isn't that what these young people are saying? Like, I'm telling you how I feel. And you're wanting him to feel differently. And it's just not gonna happen. I feel like when you said that your dad said, I don't feel the pull, while I understand being absolutely infuriated, but I also feel like in his boomer brain, not to be devil's advocate, he was like, I told her how I felt. Look at me go. I told her technically that is big. And you even said that he was a good dad. He was always a good dad. It wasn't like, oh, he was bad and then he's changing. So I understand you would want them to then wouldn't you want to be involved in your grandkid's life? But I just think that there's so much in the world of boomers that they just don't want to anymore.
Well, also there's a thing in the world of boomers where they were right about everything and they're always right about right? Like there's a little bit of a lack of self-reflection. And I think that sometimes in maybe the generation before, there was when we got this whole idea of grandparents being super doty and super spoiling to kids, it's because they didn't do that for their kids. And now they're kind of righting the wrongs of their parenting. And I do kind of feel like boomers are well, I didn't do anything wrong. We did everything. And that's why there's all this no contact going on now with people that have parents that are boomer age. Because they're well, I didn't do anything wrong when clearly it's and sometimes I think no contact is too aggressive. But a lot of people are I've told you over and over again about how your behavior hurts me. And instead, you're saying, well, that's how I grew up and I didn't make any mistakes and you refuse to self-reflect. And so I'm going to not contact you anymore. And then they find a way to make it about them being a victim and this and that. So it seems to me your parents just are your mom is I'm doing my own thing. And your dad is just kind of well, I've given you and your siblings everything I could, and I'm really just not feeling the pull for the next generation.
I just don't want to.
So that's that. And that's super disappointing when you feel like you've always had this dad that you could rely on. I never have felt like I could call my dad at 3 a.m. to vent to him. That's not the relationship that we have. So I would be super disappointed to be like, oh my God, my dad's going to be such a great grandpa. And then he's just like not doing
good at it. And I did want to just share, as someone that I have never had good grandparents. All of my grandparents were evil. I have never had the like embrace of like I get to go to my grandma's house. Like I've never had it. But something that my mom did do, which obviously I can't, this is not about like the specific of like what to do with your parents specifically, but my mom knew she couldn't change her parents, knew that there was nothing she was going to do about it. And what she did do was encourage me to find spaces. Like I did community service at the library for a really long time. And then I like weirdly got adopted by other older people that either didn't have grandkids or like were looking to be and to help. And like you find them, you do find them. And then I ended up having multiple like people. My mom had like other older friends that were very influential for her. They became like grandparent-esque for me. I'm just saying, for you looking down at your children, and like I always knew my grandparents did not want to be around me. They made it very clear they didn't like me and they didn't want to be around me. And that was so much more damaging than going out and finding other older adults that did want to be around me. You know what I mean? Like that's something like our family has had to work on in therapy before. And I'm just saying that while hopefully you work with your relationship with your dad over time, that there's also other opportunities to give your kids. It's not the same. I know you're probably listening to this being like, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm saying as somebody that never
I'm
had
like looking up adoptagrandparent.org. Like there's all these organizations.
But I know it's silly, but it's even like I worked at Joann Fabrics for many years. Do you know how many older women took me under their wing? Like I did find them. And is this sad? What I'm saying, is this all too sad? I'm trying to say it in a positive way.
I think that is a thing, but like, I think for you have to figure out like what you're going to do with these feelings and like how you're going to expose these people to your children now, right? Like, because like all well and good when they're older, they can volunteer at a nursing home and they can like read.
You're right.
They can have older generational people in their lives who are not their grandparents, of course, who they can learn from. But I think you're talking about like,
I was trying to give hope for the future is all I'm saying. I'm just saying
of course. I'm just saying like for this exact situation, like I don't think you're the bee here. And I think that this is like truly just like, this is a cultural thing that is happening. I just don't want you to feel like you're alone. Like, this is happening where more like adult people of this generation are just like, yeah, I love my grandkids so much, but they're like, they're walking the walk, but they're not.
That's what I meant to say.
They're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk.
When you brought up the Facebook thing before, I was about to be like, but how much of it is performative?
Yes.
How much is it is like the things I do for my family? How much is it?
And
you know
for every person that is like, oh, my grandkids are my life. Like, there's also that grandparent that the parents are like, we actually have to stop. You are like trying to parent our kids, and like you are like overstepping, and you don't understand boundaries, and like there's a billion different parental and grandparental relationships out there. I think it's like you have to have a serious conversation with your dad and be like, because you just said you left this voicemail for us like right after you had this conversation with your dad about the pull. I would just be like, Dad, I've been thinking about what you said, and honestly, it's like very hurtful to me that like you don't feel a pull to be part of my children's lives. Like, and I don't see why I would make the effort to bring them to you and have them be disappointed time and time again that you're not engaging or that you're not like, why would I try to foster a relationship that's one-sided? And my kids love you and they want to be around you and you guys do absolutely nothing. And it's not even about drop everything and come over and watch them. Like, cause I could see how your parents are like, we're an hour away. I really don't want to come and babysit. My parents don't babysit for my kids really, unless they are fully asleep and I'm running out for 20 minutes. Like, that's just not the kind of help I can expect from my parents, or you know what I mean? I wouldn't leave them. I
you-
wouldn't leave my kids with them for a weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say if your parents were closer though, Kara, would you start, and you wanted them to be in your kid's life more, would you set up like, okay, every other week I want, like there's a night where it's a Gamma and Gampa night, you know what I mean? Like would you do something like that?
Yeah, probably. And yes, probably. And I'd be like, yeah, this is like, I want you guys to come once a month for Sunday dinner, or I want you to come once every other week for Sunday, like to
set
an
up
activity
more
with my kids
instances.
on Sunday afternoon and then Sunday dinner or something like that. And I mean, it's kind of like any other relationship in the world where if you feel like you're the only one putting in any work, you're within your rights to step back, but it just sucks that it's your parents. Because those are people. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like your relationship with your mom is a little weird. You don't seem like that psyched about her career change, but like at least with your dad, like
God,
dad,
I'm curious as to what the career change is.
You're someone I feel
though.
like I have always been able to speak to, and now you're telling me that you just like don't feel a pull to make any effort with my kids. I don't know how you thought that was going to land with me, but it's not landing well. And I think you just need to be communicative. And then I think that you need to figure out if they're seriously not going to meet you halfway, that what is your next step? Do you want to just cut
Take
them
a
off?
step back?
Do you want to just see them once a year at Christmas? I mean, unfortunately, I think that this is all amounting to you having to change your picture of what you thought this was going to look like. Because they're just not,
they're not the picture that you wanted. And that sucks.
That sucks.
It really sucks. And you wanted them to rise to the occasion and they're just not. But now you take control of the situation and you do what you have to do for your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like been hanging out with friends lately where I'm like, wow, you are like treating my kids in a way like a family member that I don't feel like I always get from family members.
Family.
And it's really interesting because like when people are just so interested in my kids and are like, I love talking to them. I love spending time with them. Like I want to take them.
Great kids. I love talking to your kids.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, I'm sure that the callers' kids are awesome.
Are also
like,
great.
It's like, again, I don't care if all three of your kids have ADHD and they're bouncing off the walls. Like these are kids. Like this is what, like, you know, this is what it does suck because I feel like I bring up individualism all the time because I do feel there is a loss of a village.
Yes.
And like I have created my own in Los Angeles among child-free people, among people that are just in my community at my kids' school. And it's just, you think it's going to be these certain people and it isn't always, you know? And it's definitely a wake up.
But I am
call.
sending you so much love.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. This is so disappointing.
It's also just so funny that they're conservative Christians because it's like, is this the Christian thing to not feel the pull to be around members of your family? Like, I don't know. I just don't. This feels like it's Fox News coded, stay away from your progressive atheist daughter and her kids. Like, I don't know. I could totally see if that was a part of it. But I think you should talk to your dad and have some more communication and then make a decision about like what your next steps are going to be. And like, what does your partner think? I mean, that sucks that his parents are gone and you don't even have these are their only grandkids that they're ever going to have. These are their grandkids. Like, I wonder if like things will also change like in their 70s, like when your mom retires and they don't have as much going on because they're older and, you know, if they'll suddenly be like, where are you? You never come to visit. You know, I wonder if that will change.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Because like you said, they're in their 60s. They're so young. You know, I imagine too, they're like, well, I'm still in the middle of my life. What are you talking about? I'm not going to just stop, you know? I think there's also it was the old idea too. Like we have some friends that their parents moved into the home when they had children so that they could help. And like in some families, it's surprising that the grandparents don't just immediately move in after you have a child. So it's like every family dynamic expects different things. You know what I mean?
And
like,
my mom is like always asking me like, when can we FaceTime the kids? Like, I mean, she wants to at least be in touch. I feel like if the caller was getting a little bit
more of that,
it would be different, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like there's as much of a effort like when the kids are physically around them, but from far away, they're like, let's FaceTime. We want to see what they're up to. And also my kids are annoying as hell on FaceTime.
Yeah, and
they're
of course, all
messing
kids
with
are.
emojis.
Yeah.
They can't focus on it. They're performing, but they're at least making an effort to be like, how's school? What are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
At least ask.
So, yeah.
All right, boomers, at least ask.
Yeah, talk to your dad again and just tell him that like that comment really did not sit well with you. And I'm just very interested in how that kind of comment dovetails with your Christian beliefs. But y'all Christians can let me know about that.
Yeah.
All right, we have one more call, and
Let's
it's a
get
little
into
bit
it.
of a doozy, so we got to get into it.
Oh, yeah? All right, I'm ready.
Thank you for calling. Who's the bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hey, Jackie and Kara. I'm going to try so hard to get this in under 5 minutes, but I've done this like 700 times.
Oh, no.
So we'll see if my ADHD will sit down and shut the fuck up for 5 minutes so that I can get through this. So
All right, we're in.
My sister and I are very close. I live right down the street from her. I moved down the street from her for about a year and a half ago. I lived with her for a couple months, her and her husband and her kid, while I was going through my divorce. She is amazing to me. She's so supportive. We've had her ups and downs, don't get me wrong, but she is just like a fierce person to have in your corner.
Hell yeah.
Because of our upbringing, though, she has PTSD, and she struggles to, she's definitely an externalizer on the scale of fight or flight when it comes to anxiety. She is on the fight side, like severely, like fight to the death, like kill a motherfucker, right? It can be a little scary. And I've worked really hard to learn how to deal with confrontation and boundaries with her and not be afraid, right, to speak up when I need to. And she's worked really, really hard to get her shit under control with me because it affects me, right? And so, so I've really appreciated the effort that she's made with me. However, because I live so close and because I have lived with them, I've gotten a really, intimate look at her marriage. And I don't use this term lightly, but she's abusive to her husband. Emotionally, I don't think that there's physical abuse happening, but I am unsure. He is not, I've heard her call him a worthless piece of shit when we're all together in a group setting because we have a lot of mutual friends. It literally looks like she's finding ways to humiliate him. And he is this just docile, sweet man who is a cancer survivor, has a beautiful outlook on life, is just like happy to be here. And she puts him down. It's awful to watch. Now I'm sure, she's unhappy in the marriage. I am sure that there is an imbalance of who's responsible for what. But what I see, right, is like him making every effort to do whatever she needs him to do and at his own expense constantly. It feels like she doesn't want a partner. It feels like she wants a servant. And it's just difficult. It's difficult to watch. So I have talked to him about it before, actually pretty recently, and I did say I feel like she's abusive. He said, yeah. I said if roles were reversed, I'd be telling her to get out. I'd be packing up her shit with her. Like, I'd be like, you can't let someone treat you like this. And I said that to him. I have lightly mentioned that I feel like she's abusive to her. I got kind of an eye roll and was dismissed pretty quickly. If she doesn't want to hear something, it's like she pushes it out of her mind and it never happened. I think that's what's happening. I do think she would be ashamed. I'm not sure she understands how she comes off or what, like, it's just like, if it's in her head, it's out of her mouth. And I don't know that she fully grasps the severity. No excuse, but I feel like she needs someone to call her out. And here's where the bitchuation is.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a little bitch.
Baby
because
bitch.
I am terrified to call her out more severely than I have. And in the moment, because I'm terrified to be on the receiving end of it because I'm a little bitch. But also, she's just a bitch. So I need to stop being a little bitch, be a fucking bitch to the bitch is what I think needs to happen. But I would like to have some advice here because in talking to them, they don't have plans to get divorced anytime soon. She wants one, but she's not willing to make the leap. I am not in control of this situation. I've talked to them both. I can't make anybody do anything.
No.
Is it even helpful to put myself in that line of fire? But like morally, I feel like I need to do something, but also I need to protect my peace. But would I be saying that if I'm talking about a woman who's being abused by a man? I don't know. I'll just stop being a little bitch. I'm at 5 minutes. I think I fucking did it. Yes!
Dude,
all right. I love you guys so much. You're a light in so many people's lives. Thank you for everything you do. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay. And then this was also a voice memo, and attached it said, kind of high stakes. I'd say it's pretty high stakes. It says, also, I didn't put this in there, but should I even have a relationship with someone who is abusive? But what if she works on herself? I feel like we should be zero tolerance here, but it just feels so much more nuanced. But can abuse be nuanced? I don't feel like it can. But people aren't just all good or bad. Ugh, I'm too close to this. Appreciate you weighing in. Okay, this is like so...
Ooh.
I mean, when you say I shouldn't even be in a relationship with someone who's abusive, I mean, she's not abusive to you.
To you.
This is, and what I want to understand is she abusive
Kara,
to anyone else in your life? Because I think she is essentially what it sounds like, still suffering from PTSD and is taking out all of her stuff on her husband. And what if it starts turning to the child at some point? Like, that's not going to be good for your niece or nephew. I don't remember whether you said the little child that was living there when you were living with the kids. So I could see why you want something to be said, because that's not a great house for a kid to be growing up in. And it's also not a great situation for this poor man. I mean, what I would be doing probably too is maybe through the husband trying to encourage some therapy. Like, I think I'm not going to say I'm remotely as bad as this, as your sister, but like there were points in our relationship where I was just being mean to my husband in a way that
call
was
you out?
It wasn't, no, because I wouldn't do it in front of anybody else. Like, it was never about humiliation. It was never about humiliation. But I was like, this is how we do it in my family. This, like, why is that this is like how I treat people that are the most close to me. So why is this a problem? And then we had some therapy, and I've had my own therapy and stuff. And I realized that is not how you talk to people, you know, and not like, I would never call him a worthless piece of shit. Like, I'm obviously putting this on a very different level.
Right.
But I would be snappy and I would be nasty, and I would get to nasty quickly in a way that he was like, I don't like this. And I'd be like, okay, we have to figure out when I'm feeling that way. Like, how do I get my words out to you?
Right.
But we accomplished that through therapy and really working on it together. And it feels like your sister needs to be doing that with her husband. And I want the husband to push for it, but it sounds like he's this docile guy who he needs to understand that he should not be living like this. Like,
should,
like somebody who's humiliating you and trying to blame everything on you and wants you to just be a servant. Like, that's, just to be clear, that's none of those aspects were in my relationship ever.
I do feel like you are also nervous about how she's going to react with anything you say. You are also being abused by her. You are actively nervous about her and how she reacts towards you and having it turned on you. Unfortunately, she is also abusive to you as well. And I'm not saying that, that I think that you should identify that and also be dealing with that, because I wonder, hopefully you're in therapy too, talking about these things, that I would want to speak to my sister in a different way of like, would it be okay if I started calling out when you said things that were very hurtful? Because it's really starting to adversely affect all of your relationships. And I do wonder sometimes that I feel like, as someone that I've been to anger management multiple times, I used to refer to it as seeing red. I used to say I have no control over myself or what I say or who I am when I see red. And that is just not true. I've worked on it. I've worked through it. Not that I'm saying that is true for every single person, but she needs to be made aware of what she is doing when she is doing it, because I also feel like there are times, and I'm saying this as someone that has gone through this, of like, I never did that. I never spoke like that. I never said those things. But that's because There was no proof. And now in this day and age of like, is there a place that like, do you talk to, would this help? And again, we don't know all the situation of talking to the husband, like to your brother-in-law to like set up a little camera to catch it so that you could play it back and be like, this, like how you speak to me like this. And you show it to her to make her aware, because if this is something that she does want to be aware of and actively try to stop, maybe she needs to see, as someone that has had to go through this before, sometimes you have to see the monster that you become to be able to recognize
also, I think like you've only mentioned it to her in like little passing, and she just rolls her eyes or whatever,
which means she's not aware of it.
And I understand why it's very nerve-wracking to want to sit down with her and have like an actual heart-to-heart about it, because A, you're worried she's going to pop off on you, and what if she says, well, screw you, like I don't want you in my life now, or like you not going to have a sister and you're not going to have your niece or nephew, and like, but you live close by. It feels like a cutoff would be like too extreme to even manage. But I would say having like a calm conversation and going, I just want to like, I know I've mentioned it in passing before, but I need to have like a serious conversation with you. And I really want you to try to like stay calm, because I'm only telling you this stuff because I love you and because I know that this comes from our upbringing and like how we were raised and some of the trauma that we've gone through. But I really am made uncomfortable when you humiliate your husband in front of me. Like start with that. Start with how it makes you feel, right? Like, because you can't be like I would not say, and I've spoken to Bill. I forgot if you said the name. Don't say you've spoken to him. Don't say like you're talking behind your back. Just be like,
because then she's going to see you as a worm tonguer.
Because that's my brother-in-law and I love him, and like I love you. You're my sister. But like I don't see. Tell me if there are things he's doing that are really bad, like tell me, because right now all I see is the way you are screaming at him and humiliating him. And I don't see, what I see is a guy who is pretty positive that just kind of stands there and takes it. So if there's stuff going on that you expect from him that he's not doing, tell me. And then if she goes, well, I want him to do X, Y, Z, and it's all servant stuff, be like, it sounds to me like you have unrealistic expectations of what a husband's role is, and you want someone who's just gonna like follow your rules. And if you really, like if she really isn't happy with him, she should get a divorce.
Yeah.
But she's probably
Don't stay around for the
interior. She probably knows inside, I will be this way to the next man. Like this is how I am. And I just think trying to suggest to her that it makes you uncomfortable, and what you've, like, I can only speak to what I've observed with my own eyes, and I don't like it. And I also don't think it's a good like example. I mean, maybe don't even bring up the kid if it's going to set her off.
I know.
Like, I just would try to like go into it like really gently and be like, have you ever considered, like, I've gone to therapy. It's really helped me. Like, have you considered maybe doing that? It feels like you just have like a lot of anger, and a lot of it is coming out at your husband. And maybe some of it is totally righteous, but maybe some of it is just projection from, or, transferred from past traumas. And I just want you to both to be happy,
Yeah.
Like try that. Try like, when you're like, I gotta be a big bitch. It's like, I don't think you do. I think you need to come at this from a gentle bitch perspective.
Gentle
like,
bitch. We're
I think we need to
bitching.
start at gentle bitch with her. And then if literally she will do zero self-reflection and zero changing of it, you could start and say, I just can't come over anymore. Until like, I can't come over until
we
you
can
are
talk.
done humiliating your husband like publicly in front of me. Like, and then hopefully it can like change little by little. But if you're gonna side talk to the husband, I really think he needs to push for some kind of like therapy. This is only gonna get worse.
She needs to be made aware of it, and she needs to want to work on this, or else I say that relationship should be over. But God, you watching it from down the street, that's got to be so difficult.
Yeah,
just seeing it all the time, and just and knowing that like, well, but she helped you out. But like, I get it as someone that like, when you live with a couple and you see the interior of a relationship, you want to hope that it makes you love their relationship even more. Like, as someone that I lived with Henry and Natalie, and it made me love their marriage even more after I lived with them. And it's like, that's really what you hope You know, that is like genuinely what you hope when you live with somebody.
Right.
Because you do see the inner aspects of a person's marriage if you're staying with them, you know, and you do it. So it's just one of those things that
I think you can say that. Like, I have a unique perspective.
Right.
Like, I'm your sister. I know where you're coming from, but I also lived in your home for a while.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So I see things, how things go. And again, I know I don't know everything about your relationship, but tell me like your perspective on this. Because if her perspective is all just like, well, it's his fault because of this and that and this and that. It's like, okay, I'm just seeing a person with a lot of anger and we need to like talk about it. Like, because you should say like, I don't want you and your husband and your family to be repeating the cycle of our family. And again, you didn't give details on that, but
you
I'm
did say PTSD.
Yeah, like let's not like all give each other PTSD, like keep it going. You know what I mean? Like let's
break the cycle.
Break the cycle. It ends with us without the lawsuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without the Baldoni side of it.
Without the Baldoni. But like, I just think like you don't have to come at this of like you're standing up to this massive bully. I think you want to come to
standing
your
on
sister
business, yes.
as a resource. As like is there a way I can help you through this? Because this is making me concerned for you and concerned for like your home life.
Your home.
You know?
Yes.
Rather than like,
and the
I
kid.
gotta boss up and yell at her.
And the kid. And also remind of like, of a child is aware of these things. Yeah. And what are you teaching your kid and how to treat someone?
A lot of us like this, like, you know, I remember even when I was like, I mean, Jared and I barely ever fight anymore, but like, even when I do snap sometimes, and like I honestly don't think that that's unhealthy, but if I am snapping in a way that I think is like taking it too far, like I'll go back a few minutes later and go, I'm sorry, I should have done that. It's like repair is like a thing I never used to do because that never really happened in my house. There was never repair.
Right.
So like, even though, you know, it's like you're not expecting her to get a new personality. She's not going to stop becoming, but it's like, how can we move through our anger in a way that is not abusive to other people? And then if we do mess up and we are abusive, how can we repair it or walk it back? You know what I mean? Like I mean, again, it's like not your job to be your sister's therapist, but I think you're in a unique position having the same upbringing and having lived inside of her house.
Yes. Let us know how it goes though. Please,
oh my God.
Please.
So tough.
Just such a difficult situation. We're sending you so much love because it's not fun. It's not,
yes.
It's especially, man, going up against a strong individual when you're like, I will be stronger than you.
But I would, there's strength in silence. There's strength in calmness. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be
look at the two of us. We know. Yeah, there's strength in calmness. Yeah, I'm always calm. No, I have to talk myself down. And that's what we do. But it's good. We learn. Yeah. We grow. We move on. We talk to each other. Man, in 100 episodes, you know, there's a lot of things that we've learned, a lot of things that have scared us, a lot of things that I think that have opened up our eyes. And I appreciate you, Kara. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Jackie,
for sharing this life with me. I'm so happy
that we have made 100 beautiful episodes of Who's the Bitch.
Yeah.
And if you like the show, I guess tell a friend, leave a rating. I don't freaking know. But who'sthebitch.com is the place to leave your BITCHuations, your situations, your low stakes, high stakes, medium stakes. Send us a steak, like an actual piece
steaks.
of meat.
Yeah, not because then
I mean, I don't want it, but
yeah, but I want it. So send us steaks too. If you have steaks, I want steaks. Yeah. So that'd be great.
But we'll see you guys next week, and thank you for 100 episodes.
Bye, lovelies.
Bye.